Hello everyone, my name is Stefan and today we are here for episode 20 of Style Sports. So today we are attempting a brand new format, in which case I am here and I do not have a co-host at this moment, but hopefully he'll be coming back very soon. So let me know how you like this setup, if you like it, if you don't, any suggestions, leave them in the comments because I would love to hear your feedback. So before we get started, I'm also going to be putting timestamps in the description. So just in case you don't want to watch football per se, you can skip to the part that you like the most. Also, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and comment, and just do all that good fun stuff. So let's begin with the very hyped NBA Finals. This year is the third time in a row that these teams have met, is the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they have both gotten better. Especially more so Golden State Warriors with the addition of Kevin Durant. As much as it pains me to say it, they are basically unstoppable. Especially in the playoffs, and especially the way they've been playing. It is so hard. It's intense. The Warriors, to prove that they are unstoppable, they are 12-0 in the playoffs. Whereas, the Cavaliers are 11-1. They did lose one game to Boston. But other than that, the playoffs have been basically sweeps, and it's been, I don't want to say no fun, but it's been very boring. And they're just so dominant, and now they're going to be in the finals, and there's a lot of people who are questioning it, asking if the NBA is even competitive anymore. Obviously, you can argue, yes, it's competitive because, people still competing. The Warriors did lose games, and the Cavaliers did lose games, but when we're talking the playoffs, it's not very fun because they just go through. But then you could argue that it's unfair. You could argue all that stuff. But then again, back then when the Celtics were a dynasty, when the Celtics were winning everything, when the Bulls were winning everything, right? Nobody really complained as much because it was whatever. So I think this NBA, the current NBA, they still do have lots of competition. But anyways, let's get back on the game. We're going to talk about Game 1 more specifically because it did happen. It kicked off June the 1st. And Golden State, they definitely dominated. 113-91 was this final score. Bring them to 13-0 in the postseason. The game how it went, it was mostly even by halftime, and then progressively it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Only 3 players on the Cavaliers showed up. It was obviously LeBron, he had 28 points. Kevin Love, he had 15 points, but a whopping 21 rebounds, which is really good. He did his job, and Kyrie Irving, 24 points. So all 3 of them combined for 67 points out of the 91 they scored, which is embarrassing. Nobody else decided to do anything. I think that's pathetic. Golden State Warriors, they had 2 players who had standout performance. Of course, Kevin Durant, who was basically automatic. He had 38 points, and Stephen Curry, who did have 28 points. Every other player, there's nobody who was over 15, but everybody had 9, 7, 11, 12. A bunch of those players had that, right, to combine to the super big total, and that's why they did good. So I don't know if you can see it in my background, but I have a LeBron jersey here. So my prediction, I do have Cavs in 7. That's partially due to my hatred of Golden State Warriors, but I guess we'll have to see, because right now the level that they're playing at is unmatched. But what we're going to talk about real quick is we're going to talk about Klay Thompson. As you guys know, he plays on the Golden State Warriors, and him and Curry were the dynamic duo, I guess, before Kevin Durant came. And now he's been shafted. His role, he's basically useless, in my opinion. He went 3-16, scoring 6 points. So he had a very bad game. But he was, when asked about the situation, he was quoted saying, "I'm not about getting numbers." And then he also said, "I'll take 4 points every game if I win a championship." And I said, okay, that's fine. What else do you expect the guy to say? He's not going to be like, "I wish I could do more." You have Kevin Durant on your team. You have Stephen Curry on your team. You're not going to get the ball. You already know that. And CJ McCollum, he went on Twitter saying, "Klay going to take the ring and leave to a new team. Just watch." I agree with that. I definitely agree with that because because the Curry and Durant are both free agents this summer. So they can't afford to pay them both. Well, I mean they can't, but they're gonna have to get rid of certain liabilities that they have. They're gonna have to get rid of most of their bench to keep these four all-stars together on the team. They're gonna have to get rid of people, and if they don't, they're gonna have a problem. So I think it's a valid claim to say Klay Thompson will go to a different team. Which team suits him? I don't know, but I think he's gonna do what James Harden did with the Rockets. Is he's going to go to a team and make it his. I don't know which team. Obviously, nobody knows which team, but that's what I feel. I feel like it would definitely be the greatest thing for him. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe we can chat about it. Anyways, so that's all for NBA. I'm gonna skip football also because nothing really happened. It's off season. It's pretty boring. Hopefully, well, it will start soon, September actually, but still very many months away. So once that happens, then we'll talk about that. But for now, let's talk about soccer. So for those of you who've been keeping up with the Champions League, the final is on tomorrow at 2:45, which happens to be June 3rd. It's between Juventus and Real Madrid. Personally, I anticipate it to be a very good matchup. So I'm gonna tell you the keys of the game, in my opinion, to see who and how they will get success. So in my opinion, I think Ronaldo, once you get him going, that will definitely be a very key factor because he averages 5.5 shots per 90 minutes, which is the highest for players that play over 2,000 minutes. And once they get him going, it could be definitely deadly because if he starts getting shots, obviously Juventus has the best defense. So if he gets getting shots up, then it could be a problem. But another key, in my opinion, is because the way Real Madrid play defense, they play a very relaxed midfield defense, right? And it makes them rely heavily on their center backs, so Ramos and Varane. Oh, whoops, I butchered his name, I'm sorry. So if they hold the line properly, then they will have a very good chance because that is, Juventus, they do have an offense, but obviously not a very good one, but if you stop the run, like all games should, it should be easy. But on the other hand, Juventus, they have this really elite forward named Paulo Dybala, who after being picked up to take the role of Pogba, who they did trade to Manchester United, he filled the spot with 4.2 progressive passes or runs per 90 minutes. Pogba was averaging 4.5. So he definitely filled the spot well enough. He's doing pretty well, and he led them to get where they are. So if Dybala can get free to move the attack forward, as he did against Monaco, the other games, Juventus does have a chance. So like I said before, Juventus does have the best defense. Real Madrid has the best offense. So it'll be a very attack and defend, back and forth kind of game. But in my honest opinion, I do think the final score will be 1-0 for Real Madrid. And I feel like there'll be a red card somewhere. So let's quickly talk about Europa League. It came to an end last week with Manchester United. They did have a very disappointing top 4 finish when they should be a little bit higher, but they were looking to redeem their season, and they ended up playing against Ajax, and they won 2-0 with goals from Pogba in the 18th minute and Mkhitaryan, I butchered that as well, in the 48th minute. So what I found very interesting about this game was statistically, it was a very different game from the number like 2-0 from if you actually watch the game. Ajax, they had 67% possession and they shot 17 shots. Of course, only 3 were on target. This is why they had no goals, most likely because 3 were on target. But when you take 17 shots and you have 67% possession for the entire game, you guys are doing something wrong. Or the goalkeeper played lights out, but he didn't. He had one more save than the other guy. So I don't know, but they still had a control of the game in a sense, right? They had the ball all the time, they kept shooting, they controlled the pace. Man United, they shot only 6 times. 4 of them were on target, and 2 of them were goals, which I think is ridiculous. That's a very good ratio, and it shows that they were very smart, and they weren't just chucking up shots to chuck up shots. They were chucking up shots to get it in and to win. And they did that, and it was very convincing. Yeah, so now being in the off season, of course, because they did win the final 2-0. This one star who has gotten a lot of attention. He's 18 years old. Kylian Mbappe. He had a standout year, and he has already gotten offers from Real Madrid for a whopping and also record-breaking 120 million euros, which is crazy. And the even crazier part is they rejected it, which I think is also insane. But I guess they want him with the club, or I don't know. But also Arsenal, they've also decided to offer. They offered only 100 million euros. Yes, it's 20 million less. I don't know what they were thinking, but obviously they tried to lure him in a sense where they were adding add-ons and performance-related payments on top of the 100 million. So I guess if he scores a certain amount of goals, he'll get paid. So basically incentives, which I feel like he had a really good season. So he'll probably, go for, but he'd probably do that instead of the other one. But he did actually decline it, which is also weird. So I don't really know what they're trying to do. He's 18 years old and he's getting $120 million offers, which I think is ridiculous. But he did like a tweet actually today, the day of recording this, and people are still hinting that he's going to go to Arsenal. So they're hoping that he makes another deal or something to that extent. So yeah, you'll definitely be hearing about Mbappe in the weeks to come, because obviously more people are going to keep offering, and hopefully and possibly he will accept one, and I will cover it right here. But for now, let's move on to hockey, which will be the final sport of this episode. So as you guys know, the Stanley Cup playoffs, they did start, and it's between the super crazy underdogs, Nashville Predators. So most of you know, they did start by sweeping the number 1 seeded team in their division, and they were a wild card. Ever since that, they just kept going, and now they're in the finals. Nobody believed it, but they are now. So really good for them. And they're also facing the defending champions, Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's going to be a very good series. But as of recording this, 2 games have already played, and it's kind of looking like a blowout in a sense. The Penguins are up 2-0. The first game they won 5-3, and the second game 4-1. So they're kind of, separating it. It's not very close anymore. 2 goals, 3 goals, something like that. So I really hope the Predators, I really want them to win, just because of their story and how they've progressed. I really hope they get a win at home, in order to keep the momentum alive, in order to keep the dream alive as well, because they've done very well. And I do hope, because it would make it more entertaining. And also for PK Subban's sake, he went on Twitter and he guaranteed them a Game 3 win. So there's a lot of pressure on him to not let it, he's a defenseman, right? So he has to try to do his best to not let in goals and not get hurt. And also he did claim that the environment will be the best that the NHL has ever seen, which I agree with for sure, because they haven't been relevant in many years. I think it's 40, I'm not entirely sure. But it's about time, and they made to the Stanley Cup Finals when nobody thought they would, and it's the greatest underdog story, and there's going to be so many people cheering for them, and it's going to be so loud, it's going to be so great. I really hope they get this Game 3 win and Game 4 win, and I just hope they get the rest, and I really do hope that they win, because that'd be crazy, that'd be legendary, and I'd be glad to witness it. But anyways, that is all for today. We hope you enjoyed it very much. Like I said before, you find timestamps in the description of what you wanted. You can also check out our Instagram in the description below. Like, subscribe, comment, share, do everything you want, and leave your feedback, right? Because I'd like to know. Give me what you want, and give me suggestions for next video if you want. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I hope we see you guys next time. Goodbye.